Juneau. These are my pieces at the new Imagists show. About my work, this particular piece right here is of my son, and we have a little bit of a tradition. Every year we go down to the Cowichan Bay Maritime Center and we build these boats, which I've also got featured in a still life over here. And yeah, this is just something we've started doing since we moved up island, and they're like a rite of passage where I'm from. Everybody goes to make their Cowichan boat, and I mean you find them lying around everywhere, abandoned and washed up and on shore, but it's a fun thing. When I do still lifes, I generally use objects that are meaningful to me, like I've had for a while or were given to me, or like this blue marble in the painting has sort of come to represent me. Like I've used it so often. For some reason, I love the shape and color of it, and it's just come to represent me. Somehow, in this particular still life, this is a jug I found on my property. I have a house that was originally built in 1911, and I always find junk and garbage buried in my yard. So this particular thing was pulled out one summer when I was gardening, and so I also decided to put in some grapes from my grapevine, and wood. The wood that it's on I also found lying around my house. This small piece was painted on location at a little stream near my house in Shawnigan Lake, and it was quite an adventure because it was pouring rain that day. I had never painted in the rain. It was my first time, and I went into the clear cuts. I like to go out, way out, away from everybody I possibly can when I paint. And I set up on this pile of slimy logs that were left over from a flood. And it was an interesting day. I just had the feeling of being watched, and I kept turning around because I'd hear like branches crackling and nothing would be there, and I just felt so intensely spooked. Like, I ordinarily don't get scared out in the woods. I love to be out in the woods, but this day it's the first time I've ever been like afraid, and I actually packed up and left early and finished it, little details in my studio, because I was scared. This painting is of one of my best friends that I've known for years and years, and she models extensively for me. She's, in this picture I used of her, she was holed up in a hotel in Prince George with an injury, receiving medical attention, and so I found out just by chance. I ran into her mom on the ferry, and I drove out to Prince George in the middle of winter to go hang out with her, and she modeled for me, and we basically drank. We were so drunk the whole time. Like, what else do you do in Prince George? But it was such a memory. I have lots of photos and paintings of her, and I pretty much cataloged the trip through my art, which Angela is definitely a large part of. Yeah. This is a study. I haven't done the large painting yet, but I like to do studies for my work, especially my figure work, before I commit to the large canvas. And this one, I just wanted to get a feel for what I wanted to do, and I worked a little bit from photo, but mostly from life, which is kind of tricky. I always end up doing something with my left hand, and I'm left-handed, so it makes for an interesting time trying to paint my left hand while I'm painting, and I've actually really grown adept at using my right hand to paint with. And each time I do it, I swear I'm never going to do it again, but I do.